that's what we start the sound editing process. But what we find out is this, and I'm going to load in here a little something that is part of giving. This is the introduction that Jonathan Gross recorded. He stood up to introduce this author of a book named American Gothic. And it was kind of interesting because the first time I started recording it, I thought all these people coming up, they really know how to speak. They're going to speak in a way that they're really going to be happy with. Well, it turns out just about everybody, when they get up to a microphone, their mind starts going half blank. And they start thinking about things, and they go, and then they say things, and then they go, and then it's like, whoa, what is all this noise, this sound, this business? So I kind of surprised him. I just peeled off his introduction, and what I want to do here is, let's see, open that. So now I'm loading in the MP3 format. I would ordinarily load this in as a WAV file to start with, but this was much more compacted just for a demonstration. Now, see the time scale up here? Those are in minutes, and I can expand that time scale like this, and I'd like to get this down to, maybe this was quite lengthy, so I want to get down to 1 second, but I'm sort of far into it, so the numbers are big. So this is 1 second at a time. And as the line moves across here when I play this, you're going to see the line move across 1 second at a time. But you're seeing the waveform of his original speaking.
Hi everyone. Thanks very much for coming.
Listen to the elves.
We have 2 people introducing our very distinguished speaker tonight, so I want to get started. Thank you also for being here. It's a real pleasure to bring Steve Field to the Midwest to speak about one of the more famous paintings in the Art Institute. And I've always found...
Just for the heck of it, I thought, these are the people I have to deal with all the time. I'm not going to tamper with the spoken word of the notable person coming, because that goes on for quite a while. That's an hour's worth of stuff. But I figured out here, what would it sound like if I just did him a favor and got rid of the ums, and maybe closed up some of the gaps, someplace in here where there's long pauses, and you would see that as being no sound. It's hard to pick out. But somewhere between his introduction and the speaker coming up, there might be 20 seconds worth of just a bunch of rustling sound. Well, you can just mark that and chop it out. People listening really don't want to bother with that. But
or the breaks. If it's a long thing and they have a break, a 20-minute break, like the law school did, you don't want to have hear the people talking in their little groups.
You don't want your listener to go on a break as well.
But what you will find, and what I found that lecture that I mentioned I was going to miss, and I recorded these 3 chapters worth of material, I did that in less than an hour, sitting in front of a microphone. I just flipped the pages, told them what page I was looking at with illustration. I described it. I said what was important about it. That took less than an hour. It took me 3 hours with this to clean it up. Because what happened was, is I would make a mistake and I'd want to re-record it. Well, I would just continue to speak, and then I'd have to go back and chop that part out. And then because of the interruptions, like the phone ringing and all that, I would stop the machine and I'd go back and re-record. So I had about 10 pieces of audio file here, but I had to stick together the right way. And it's like, holy smokes, it took me 3 times as long to do that as it did to do this. And I suppose I would get better at it. I would make fewer mistakes. I would just go straight on through. But for little things like this where you want to clean things up, now I've marked what I think is an okay, so let's increase the volume on that. Well, it's already pretty high. So
and I want to close the door. It gets too hot here otherwise.
Let's do this and play this once again. Okay. He doesn't have the anymore. So since he tends to put ums in as clearly distinguished little blocks of sound.
Hi everyone. Thanks for...
Here we go. See, here's another All right, so now we get rid of that one too. So I went through and I did this with this little 3-minute introduction, and then let me open that one up for you because I sort of de-ummed it. So then I sent it to him and I said, Jonathan, which one do you want me to put on?
Was he able to figure out the difference?
Hi everyone. Thanks very much for coming.
No.
We have 2 people introducing our very distinguished speaker tonight, so I want to get started. Thank you also for being here. It's a real pleasure to bring Steve Field to the Midwest to speak about one of the more famous paintings in the Art Institute. And I've always found it a haunting image, but now that I've lived here for 14 years,
it sort of makes it better to listen to.
more than I once did.